So, good evening, everyone. This is the 99th Fertility Masterclass that we are doing. So, we get a lot of queries regarding incubators and especially the time lapse imaging. So, many people think that investing on time lapse imaging can be a good tool for marketing, and it can also increase the success rate in your center for IVF. So today, Dr. Jay will be giving his inputs because I think he has been using the time lapse incubator for almost 6 years now, and he has a lot of data that he can share with us. And people who are actually thinking of investing in that can gain some knowledge and also some financial, I think, inputs also to check whether this is a feasible option or not. So I request Dr. Jai to present, and then probably we will discuss about it a little more after he finishes his talk.
Right. So I'll come straight to the point. Basically, remember one thing in today's time and situation, where I think apart from Shilpa madam, everybody else's practice has gone down. In that type of a situation, remember one thing: investing in time lapse is not a very wise option unless and until you are consistently crossing 50 egg pickups in a month. This is very, very, very certain. All right. One time lapse incubator is going to be equivalent to the cost of setting up two IVF laboratories. Remember that. On an average, the time lapse incubator is going to cost you somewhere around 1.2 to 1.5 crores based on what configuration you are buying. Let's say if it is 1.2 crores, in 1.2 crores, 100% you will end up setting up two IVF laboratories. Okay, for sure. Uh, This is including the routine, box type as well as benchtop incubators, whichever you may try to consider. The second thing, as far as time lapse incubators is concerned, and something which is very, very crystal clear, is that it does not increase your success rates. It only helps you in giving unbelievably brilliant patient satisfaction. Okay, this thing of patient satisfaction is simply unbeatable. I mean, if you are a unit like ours where, let's say, out of 120 or 150, close to 95% of patients are redo IVFs. That means people who are coming back to do a second IVF or a third IVF with us. In that situation, time lapse is something which really helps the patients. If you are a center like ours, where we have so many patients who have had no embryos formed, so many patients where there are poor egg quality, embryo arrest, fragmentation, then a time lapse incubator is absolutely fantastic. Okay, it is purely for patient satisfaction. If you don't form an embryo, of course, you will dig deep to find out where the embryo got arrested. You have certain checkpoints like fertilization checkpoint. You have certain annotations like, morula arrest. You have situations where 2PN did not progress or there is reverse cleavage. All these types of things which we have all studied in embryology, which you can explain to your patient and you can allow the patient to gain confidence about their case. All right. Remember one more thing. From like 2019 to 2025, if by mistake you are somebody who is practicing IVF morally and ethically, okay, then you are going to be very certain of what I'm going to tell you, that the practice of IVF has changed like 180 degrees over the last maybe 5 years. Okay. It is extremely difficult to convince patient to go ahead with egg donation programs. Right. I don't do it due to various reasons which I have listed many, many times. But even for people who do it, and I've heard my friends telling this to me, that it is getting very, very difficult for them to go ahead with, convincing people to go ahead with egg donation options. Even if you give them multiple offers and, all these types of things, it is getting more and more and more and more and more difficult. And in that situation, investing in a time lapse is something which is very, very good because you can give so much confidence to your patient regarding their clinical condition. Right? Does time lapse require any specific architecture for you to go through the time lapse culture system? So it requires a culture coin, which is just like the culture plate. And this culture plate has a droplet which can accommodate 20 microliter of culture media. It can be a single step culture media. You need to do an oil overlay over it and you need to place the embryo in the center of the well. The beauty of this well and the beauty of the incubator is such that for the next 120 hours, you don't need not even lift the lid of the incubator to check anything. Every 20, 30, 40 seconds, it will keep on clicking images and it will keep on collating a 1 minute video of this entire thing, you know. And you will be able to get a nice 1 minute, sort of 55, 57-second video at the end of 120 hours to show you the progression of how the embryo went right from fertilization to development of a blastocyst embryo. And that is something which is very amazing. So one more thing I want to tell you, when we bought the time-lapse incubator, the concept of NICS was just coming in. That is non-invasive chromosomal study. Now I do understand that there have been certain warning signs which have been issued against non-invasive chromosomal studies. But then if you look at those guidelines closely, it has been issued by people who do not have time-lapse imaging systems. The beauty about time-lapse imaging is in that 20 microliter well, the amount of spent culture medium which is available for doing non-invasive chromosomal studies is absolutely fantastic. Okay. And if in case your culture conditions are good, NICS equivalence will almost touch close to 90% in a time-lapse incubator compared to the traditional PGTA. And this is not my data. This is data across the world, because across the world, there are several countries where using time-lapse incubator is like almost a norm. I mean, people use time-lapse incubator for even routine cultures, right? So if you were to ask me, when do I use the time-lapse? Trust me, for my types of cases, time lapse gets used in almost 65 to 70 times in a month, because people have failed IVF cycles, people have had empty follicles, people have had poor embryos, people have had, without genetic testing, people have done IVF cycles, taken LIT, FLIT, and all these types of things. And then people have come. So it is a big usage as far as I am concerned. Plus, when people keep on saying that you can't use time lapse when you have less number of oocytes, when you have this, when you have that, I don't agree to that. You can use time lapse even if you have a single oocyte, as long as the patient is wanting to have a time lapse recording of that. Okay, I'll just show you something very very quickly. It's going to be very very fast. Okay, because then I would probably like to answer questions. Uh, I hope you can see the screen, Shilpa madam.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I have I have a nice, hopefully nice time lapse video of this patient, which is not playing. Wow, that video is only not playing. Good. Okay. None of the videos are playing. Very bad. So I think I may have something about time lapse on my Instagram or somewhere, and you can simply download that video and see, guys. It is going to show you a beautiful, okay, absolutely beautiful technique in which the entire, you know, an absolutely beautiful technique in which how the embryo would grow from 0 cells, grow to 2 cells at 24 hours, 4 cells at 48 hours, 8 cells at 72 hours, morula at 90 hours, and then at 108 to 110 hours, it will form a beautiful expanded blastocyst. There are a lot of people who have tried using time lapse data on a countrywide level. And only when you have, let's say, 5 million embryos or 10 million embryos, that is when you can actually come up with AI based technology and factors in order to make sure that, okay, what you are trying to think about time lapse imaging is actually good or actually bad, or can be annotated or cannot be annotated. For a routine data like ours, it's definitely in our lifetime, it will not have so much data. So using AI based algorithms for our type of data may or may not be very useful, which is why quite a lot of these softwares whom you see, which have come up with this AI based data as far as the embryo grading is concerned and embryo selection is concerned, quite a lot of them have also taken their own data from some or the other countries where data for time lapse of the embryos has been available. All right, so this is just something which I wanted to voice out. I also wanted to tell something that culturing an embryo in time lapse does not require any expertise. Actually, you just need to put the embryo in the well, and then the embryo will keep on growing if it has to grow. The embryo will not grow if it has to not grow. And one final thing, this is one of the best tools uh, to sort of keep a patient absolutely silent during the entire journey of IVF. If somebody has 10 eggs, they a culture coin will typically accommodate 14 embryos. Okay. So if somebody has, let's say, 14 eggs, we all know for sure that out of 14 eggs, you are not going to get 14 blastocyst embryos. But you know how patients are. Patients will be like, Are, you took money and now you are saying that out of 14 eggs, only one became a blastocyst embryo. That means you have done some cheating. And we are very sure that, you don't know anything as far as IVF is concerned. So we'll do a case against you and we'll write a one-star review also. No problem. Uh, just give them this entire video of time lapse. They will try to go and show to your competitor, who will also be seeing the video on time lapse for the first time. Okay. So he or she may not be in a position to even comment that, Array, what has gone wrong? And when it something like this happens, and when a litigant tries to go to court, the data is so profound that you can send this data anywhere in the world and everybody will say that whatever the doctor has done was right. So, in a medico legal perspective, I think time lapse is something which is extremely, extremely important, is what I think, provided you have such type of clientele and provided you have such type of a practice where these types of patients and these type of demanding patients are coming inside the system. So probably with this, I'll try to conclude and hopefully I'll answer two, three questions from Shilpa madam.
Yeah. So many of them ask us, like last time also when we did this class on time lapse imaging. So you said that 50 cases per month is something that we need to look for before we actually invest
If
in
you
this.
if you want to make money out of this, okay.
Okay. So, but see, nowadays the whole fertility scenario is a little different than what it was like when you bought your system. So now it is there are IVF centers, tier 2, tier 3 centers, and then by the time the patient comes to a metro city or even to an established clinic, they are already like one cycle failed, two cycle failed, no embryos formed, one miscarriage, two miscarriage, things like that. So, do you still think like that cutoff of 50 cycles per month has to be there to make money out of it, or do you think like we can start our practice, especially like a tertiary care IVF unit where you are dealing with all these failed cases?
There is
Uh,
nothing called tertiary care IVF unit in today's time and age.
why do you think so?
No, no, it's simply, I mean, IVF is going to become like a dentistry department, madam. You have a dentist, at least in Bombay, you have a dentist in every pin code. You will have every pin code, you will have like 10 dentists. Okay. IVF
Mm,
is also going to progress and become like that. Once upon a time, there were revenue streams where uh, people who did not have an IVF lab were doing cases at somebody's lab. Now
yeah.
people with like 3 IVF cases a month have set up their own labs, thinking that why should they share that part of the revenue with somebody else?
Mm.
And
So, yeah, how much money it costs for per consumables per cycle in this?
around 5,000 rupees.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing. So you have ESCO, right? I mean, what you have with you
Escobiri.
is this. So is it like a dry incubator or is it a wet incubator that you have, or can it be converted into a wet incubator? Yours, what you have? It is all dry incubators.
It's completely dry, ma'am.
Hmm. So what we have is the Jerry one, which can be like converted into a wet incubator also. So of course, like we don't have the kind of data that you have right now. So we are still like trying to understand as to how it works, whether it is really worthwhile.
Oh,
Uh,
it is not. I don't think it is worthwhile. It is only good for patient satisfaction. Believe
yes,
me.
I
The
trust. Yeah.
when the patient, like the videos which I was playing, I was trying to play rather, which were not playing on the iPhone, are time lapse videos of a doctor who has gone to a very good fertility center in Hyderabad, and she has had like 4 IVF cycles failed, no embryos formed
Mm,
in 2 cycles. One cycle, one blastocyst. Second cycle, one blastocyst.
mm.
On time lapse, she formed 4 embryos, 4 blastocyst embryos. Forget that. What is more happiness for the patient is to just see that she formed 5 embryos. That whatever confidence they lose in themselves, no, that now nothing will happen, world has come to an end. All that takes a big change, when they
So
look
it
at
is
these
because it
embryos.
gives a stable culture, the
It's just good
environment.
luck, ma'am. It would have happened even in a routine incubator. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a stroke of luck, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I think what you said is right. Okay, so it was interesting to listen to the practical aspects of the time-lapse imaging. So any questions, we will take it in our groups and probably you can answer
Yeah,
because.
I want to know. I mean, somebody has asked this question. I was interested to buy Esco Miri 6 benchtop incubator. Every benchtop incubator is the same. If the
Mm,
question is that which benchtop incubator is better, every benchtop incubator is the same. There is no benchtop incubator which is better than the other. So if somebody is trying to give you a foolish comparison that this is better than that, is better than that, is better than that, there is nothing like that. I have Esco. I have in my laboratory the incubator from Cook. Okay. I have in my laboratory the incubator from Planner. So I have the old Heracell. Okay, I have the Mink and I have the Mink Plus. So I have everything. And if in case somebody is going to tell you, oh, this forms better embryos, oh, that forms better embryos, that is basically somebody who's not experienced enough, who is speaking something like that. I personally don't think so.
okay. Yeah. So anything else have we left? I mean,
Not that I can think of, ma'am.
yeah. Okay, thank you. I think we can discuss this in the groups so that it can help more people. Let them also think.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you so much.